talk sports.
We are Black Hawk. We are Wisconsin.
Good afternoon from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They file across the Hank Aaron Bridge on their way to Miller Park for the Twins and the Brewers today. Last night, it was all Brewers. It started with a bang. Gerardo Parra with a home run leading off. The Brewers scored 6 runs in the first inning. Gene Segura with a couple of RBIs as well, and then they started with the home run ball. Aramis Ramirez went deep. Scooter Gennett went up there with the big boys, and the Brewers were shaking hands. All smiles after their win last night. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Got a little day baseball in Milwaukee. And Rock, last night the Brewers putting up another double-digit run total. Now, they've won 3 out of 4 from the Twins, and twice they've scored in double digits.
And today's starter, Kyle Gibson, kind of met the same fate as Trevor May did in yesterday's ballgame. Brewers jumped all over him early in that ballgame. 5 runs. In the first 3 innings, Segura with a leadoff home run. The Brewers hit 2 home runs, including an Adam Lind 3-run shot. That separated the Brewers from the Twins in that game. And before that start, Gibson was putting together a very good season. Month of May, 6 earned runs in 6 starts. But certainly the Brewers jumped all over him. But after that, those 3 innings, Gibson really was able to settle down and retired 13 in a row. This guy's pretty tough.
Check out what the Brewers have done in this season series with the Twins, winning 3 of the 4 they have played. They are plus 11 in runs. They're plus 9 in hits, and now plus 3 in home runs, and pitching very well as well. Go figure, right? The Twins in contention. Right now, they are 4.5 back of the Royals, and the Brewers are trying to do some more damage with another former Twin on the mound. Matt Garza, it's his turn today. Craig and Augie will break him down when we come back.
Your home improvement needs.
By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Back at Miller Park this afternoon. Perfect day for baseball. A couple of right-handers each looking for win number 4 on the season. Kyle Gibson, his record against Milwaukee and a high ERA. Matt Garza, on the other hand, against a club he broke into the majors with, has a nice ERA of 1.65. In fact, his last win this season was against those same Twins. What does he need to do to get back on track? Because his last 2 starts, he's given up 13 hits in each of those ball games.
You know, as a pitcher, we talk so much about pitch command and pitch selection. I want pitch location out of him today. Not think about all those things. Think about that nice, good pitch location. With that, nice and relaxed focus. Execute his game plan, and then go out and do 2 things. You help your team get a series win and help yourself get in a better direction.
All right, so Garza's ready to dial it in, and you see the numbers and what he was able to do against the Twins. Last time showing a lot of emotion, no walks. He was in control, 7 strong innings. That's what the Brewers need out of their starter here this afternoon if they're going to grab this series against Minnesota. So it's Garza's game. BN Rock got it next.
With the standing ovation. And down he goes. Garza with the slider strikes it out. Back-to-back games with a former Twin on the mound. Kyle Lowe's yesterday, Matt Garza here this afternoon. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin today. Presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Got the roof partially closed, and the reason being to cut down on the shadows around home plate. It's a gorgeous Saturday afternoon in Milwaukee, and we are delighted to have you with us here today. The Minnesota Twins, game 2 of this series. The Brewers have won 3 of 4 thus far. Brian Dozier, their leadoff hitter. He'll be followed by Eddie Rosario, then Joe Mauer. Middle of the order is Trevor Plouffe, Torrey Hunter, and Chris Herman. And Paul Molitor has the bottom 3 of Eduardo Escobar, Kyle Gibson, and Danny Santana. That's a Potawatomi batting order for the Twins. And here is Matt Garza, start number 15, appearance number 16 on the season.
Yeah, 4.9 and ERA at about 5.5. He's looking to snap out of a rough stretch where he's lost his last 2 against the Royals and at Colorado against the Rockies. Last 2 games combined, 16 runs allowed in 12 innings as he gave up 26 hits. He's 2-1 in 4 starts career against the Twins, including a very good start his last time out at Target Field against Minnesota, where he went 7 innings, gave up only 1 run in a 4-2 victory.
That was back on June 6th. And a 4-2 win for the Brewers as they try to make it 4 out of 5. The Menards Brewers defense today, partner.
Yeah, no Ryan Braun today. It's Gerardo Parra. He moves over from left to right. That puts Shane Peterson out in left field. Brewers been playing some pretty good defense as of late. Gerardo making start number 10, or I should say 11, in right field here today.
4 left-handers in the Brewers lineup today, facing Kyle Gibson. That is Scott Berry. He'll call the balls and strikes this afternoon. Lance Barrett is over at first. Gabe Morales, the second base umpire, and the crew chief is Dan Iasonia, the man who had the plate last night. Brewers won last night. Good ball game for Milwaukee. They jumped out early on the Twins, scoring 6 in the first, 4 more in the second, and then won 10-4. Kyle Loesch picked up the victory. He went 6 innings last night. And the Brewers again with a double-digit run total against the Minnesota Twins, the second time among their 4 wins, rather of their 3 wins thus far this season. So we're ready for baseball today. Matt Garza will match up against Brian Dozier. And this Saturday afternoon affair is almost underway as soon as Garza's ready to roll. Now he's ready. And his first pitch is swung on and fouled away by Dozier.
Hey, afraid it might be a little bit difficult to see out there right now. I mean, with the shadows, creeping across the on-deck circle with the Twins across second base. A little bit challenging as the sun sets. Those shadows will disappear and then come back again as the game starts to wind down.
Dozier drops a bunt down. Ramirez bare hands, throws, and safe. So a leadoff homer for Dozier last night. He bunts his way on to start this afternoon's game.
Man, the Brewers didn't figure at all that Dozier might drop down a bunt. Ramirez way behind the bag, and by the time he gets there, the funny spin on that baseball, I had to make sure he had it in the glove, just couldn't get enough on the throw. And Dozier with a leadoff single.
He is playing like an all-star this season. He leads the American League in extra base hits. He's got the power, the speed, giving them great production from the second base position. Here's Eddie Rosario. Paul Mulder has stacked his lineup full of lefties and switch hitters. He's got his pitcher batting 8th here today, and then he's got 2 switch hitters in Escobar and Santana, and he's got 3 lefties in the lineup. So 5 different Twins will be batting off the left side against Matt Garza.
Yeah, trying to neutralize that slider that Garza likes to throw, particularly with 2 strikes.
Yesterday, Rosario hit 5th in the lineup. He was 0 for 4. Twins had 4 runs on 7 hits. They got 3 hits out of Dozier, and Mauer and Plouffe had 2 hit games apiece. No other Twin had a hit in yesterday's game.
The top of this Twins order is not too bad. I mean, the issue that the Twins have had throughout the season is the bottom of the order, and for the most part the Brewers have been able to control the bottom half of the Twins batting order in this 4-game series so far.
The top of the Twins order certainly has some run producing potential with Dozier and Mauer, Trevor Plouffe,
and Torrey Hunter up in the 2nd spot yesterday.
So it is imperative that you don't allow some of those guys, specifically Dozier, the leadoff hitter, you don't allow him to bat with men on base. He's having a great year for Minnesota. Hit his 15th home run last night. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rosario, and he pops it up. Shallow center field. In comes Gomez, and he's just playing. He lost it. He was trying to get Dozier on the run. Almost had me. He's a good actor, that Carlos Gomez. And 1 away, the first out for Matt Garza.
Always up to something, isn't he? Check him out. I can't see it, thinking Dozier might fall for that. Nothing doing.
Just in case. That is a player who is comfortable in his skin, comfortable in his position. It's good to see him back on the field as well. He missed 4 days with that hip injury. And Gomez still not 100%, but continues to play. One gone for Joe Mauer. 2 out of 4 last night. He scored a couple of runs, hitting at just .259 and an on-base percentage of just .331. Those are low figures for Joe Mauer.
Everything he seems to be hitting these days is into left field. He's not pulling the ball too much, although the home run that he hit against Milwaukee in Minnesota went to right field. He's not a home run hitter these days. Had 1 year where he hit a bunch of home runs, but those days are gone.
Had a 28 homer season in 2009. That was also the year he won his 3rd batting title, and he was primarily a catcher in those days. Won batting titles in 06, 08, and 09, all as a catcher. 2009 was his MVP season. 28 homers, 96 runs batted in, and he has not approached those numbers since.
Big difference in ballparks, home ballparks anyway. Target Field and the Metrodome. Everybody was a home run hitter in the Metrodome, especially left-handed hitters.
Garza looking to get a ground ball here to turn 2. Here's a 3-1. The runner goes, pitches a strike, throw to second, and out at second. Jeanette got him on the leg.
Yeah, they might take a look at that one. That was pretty close. Paul Molitor on the top step of the dugout. He's telling Scott Berry to hold up a minute. And looks like he's got him. Good call down there at second base by Gabe Morales.
Well, a good quick catch and tag by Scooter Jeanette.
That clearly gets him, and good call and a good throw again by Jonathan Lucroy, who's been really throwing the baseball well lately.
And there is ball 4 on Mauer. So the caught stealing important here in the first inning. 2 outs in the inning. Mauer reaches on a walk, and that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe hit a home run last night. That came in the 6th inning off Loesch. It was a 2-run homer. At the time made it 10-4. That's where the game would end up. Plouffe has 10 home runs, 40 runs batted in for the Twins this year. That ball's into right field. Going back is Parra, feeling for the wall, and he makes a catch to end the inning. So Garza gives up a hit and a walk, but a caught stealing, and he puts up a first inning 0. held scoreless in the first despite a hit and a walk. And here we go to the home first with the Brew Crew coming up. Craig Counsell's Potawatomi starting lineup here today has Gerardo Parra back on the leadoff spot. He's really swinging it well right now. Jonathan Lucroy bats second, then Gomez in the 3-hole in the absence of Braun. You got Lind, Ramirez, and Peterson in the middle. Segura, Jeanette, and Garza round out the Potawatomi batting order against the 6'6" right-hander out of Mizzou, Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, third season with the Twins. Last year he was 13-12. He was putting together a nice season until the Brewers met him in his first start in June. In May, he was 3-1, a 136 earned run average. The Brewers touched him up, as we talked about in our open today. He's lost his last 3.
Sinker ball pitcher, moved his way into the Twins rotation full-time last season. Had 13 wins in 31 starts last year for the Twins. And Parra got it away on the first pitch. He fouls it away. Gerardo hit a leadoff homer yesterday, matching Dozier's leadoff home run. Parra has done that 6 times now in his career. And with Gomez slowed by that hip injury, Parra has emerged as the everyday leadoff hitter. Counsell had tried Jonathan Lucroy in that role a couple of days, but he likes Parra in that spot. Ideally, you'd like a left-handed batter hitting behind your leadoff hitter, and hopefully your leadoff hitter is a speed player. And they tried that with Segura leading off and Parra hitting second. But Parra seems like the best fit right now to hit in that leadoff spot. He brings a little bit of pop.
Man, neither one of them big on base percentage guys, Segura or Parra, but Gerardo adds that element of power that the Brewers always like at the leadoff spot.
Ground ball. It's backhanded by Dozier, and he makes a play to retire the Brewer leadoff hitter.
Well, check out the Menards Twins defense. A big error by the pitcher last night in the first inning really opened the door for the Brewers rally in the first inning. You got some changes defensively. Eduardo Escobar gets a start at third base. Danny Santana at short, and Chris Herman behind home plate. Twins are about middle of the pack in defense in the American League.
Got Danny Santana back at short. This brought him back up from the minor leagues. Nunez has been getting the bulk of the playing time at shortstop. Here's Lucroy with one away. Kyle Gibson, if he is right, he will get a lot of ground ball outs. Lucroy hoping to continue a very good month of June. Returning from the disabled list here in the month. And he swung the bat pretty well. He's raised his average to 225, which is saying something the way he started the year. Got off to an extremely slow start and then had the broken toe that knocked him out for 38 games. Hasn't been the same hitter that we saw last year, but a lot of baseball to be played, and Brewers are hoping Lucroy will start to put the pieces together offensively. He is in our T-Mobile game changer, however, with his success against the Twins over the last couple of years. A .419 hitter against the border battle rivals, the Minnesota Twins.
Some power, 3 home runs.
There's a liner caught by Plouffe at third. Lucroy's done that on a few occasions over the last few days as well.
And he's had a lot of those. He had a lot of those in the month of April, too, in a very slow start. Well, a bullet off the bat of Lucroy, but kind of a couple of steps. Trevor Plouffe to his right and able to make the catch easily. You want to get a sinker baller early like the Brewers did to Gibson at Target Field.
2 quick outs. Here is Gomez. Gomez into the 3 spot in the order with Ryan Braun out. Braun just taking a maintenance day today. No injuries to report. And is expected to be back in the lineup tomorrow. He is available to pinch hit today.
Yeah, Braun's been swinging the bat well. Getting on base, driving in some runs.
Well, Braun and the Brewers are finding out that consistent regular rest once a week, once every 10 days does a lot of good for Ryan Braun. Helps him stay healthy, helps that thumb heal. And typically when he takes a day off, he doesn't take batting practice. And he really does take a full rest. If the game's tight and it looks like you might need a pinch hitter, he'll start to dial it up, maybe take a few cuts in the underground batting cage. We'll see if the Brewers can do what they did last night and give him a full day off. Gomez had an RBI in last night's game. Carlos hitting 5th last night, was 1 for 4, scored twice.
Flicked the curveball in the right field on a 2-strike pitch. He really shortened up nicely in that RBI.
Santana will make the play, and that is a 3-up, 3-down inning. Couple of ground outs for Kyle Gibson. We're off and running at Miller Park. We go to the 2nd. Miller Park on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Our Carsoup.com trivia has to do with Kyle Lohse. Besides Lohse, who are the other 2 active pitchers to defeat all 30 MLB teams? Kyle Lohse becoming the 14th pitcher to do that with his win last night over the Twins, a team that he came up with and pitched in the big leagues for at the beginning of his career. Lohse picked up his 4th win last night. 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. Torrey Hunter leads off for the Twins. Takes ball 1 from Garza. I talked to Lohse before the game today, and I was thinking he might be pleased that he got the win, and he's now beaten all 30 teams. And as Hunter sends one to center field, pretty deep out there in the shadows, Gomez with room. And 1 away for Garza. Long, loud fly ball out from Torrey Hunter.
Yeah, a little bit off the end. He hit it pretty well.
And that'll bring up Chris Herman now, backup catcher for the Twins. You know, Lohse, he's interesting, Rock. It is burning him up that he is not pitching well. He's not pitching like himself. He even said it today. He goes, you know, same old stuff. I've got to somehow find the key to my mechanics. He's not dialed in the way he wants to.
The feel, the way the baseball is coming out of his hand.
Yeah.
That's been a situation for Lohse all season. Just can't figure it out.
He is a perfectionist. He keeps himself in great condition. Even at 36 years of age, you wouldn't be able to tell that by his physique and his conditioning. But he is having a tough time, and he does not like where he is right now. He wanted to make that clear. But he also pointed out that it was significant for him to beat the Twins last night, because that's a pretty good notch in the cap to have beaten all 30 major league teams.
It shows you that, as you talked about, I mean, he keeps himself in shape, is able to stay on the field.
There's a strike called, and Garza makes quick work of Chris Herman.
limited time on the disabled list, and the consistency that he has shown throughout his career. And he knows he has it in him still. They just haven't been able to find it yet this year.
You know, the one thing that crossed my mind as I was talking to him today is how great is this guy for all of these young pitchers to not only model success, but to model some failure as well. I mean, he's putting in a lot of work, a lot of extra time to try to figure out why he doesn't have the slot that he normally has had, the mechanical feel that he's normally had. And that's a great thing for these young guys to pay attention to. Things don't always go like you want.
Right.
Escobar sends one deep to left, and Peterson is there for the out. That's a nice quick inning for Matt Garza.
By Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. The Brewers offense going to work now against Kyle Gibson, and they went to work last night after being shut out by Jacob deGrom in the series finale on Wednesday. They scored 10 runs in their first 2 innings. Craig Counsell saying it's great when you can look up and see in the 3rd inning that nearly every guy in your lineup has a hit. He said no doubt the 3 home runs help you put up a big number, but more importantly, he said, we feel like our lineup is getting back to where we wanted it to be at opening day. There's some length there. There's some depth, getting all of the pieces back. So a great response offensively after the shutout.
And Sophia, every starter had a hit for Counsell last night, with the exception of Loesch, the pitcher, and he had an RBI on a safety squeeze last night. So 10 runs on 12 hits. Good night all the way around. And it was a milestone night for Adam Lind last night. Lind leading off this 2nd inning. Adam had his 1,000th career hit in last night's game, partner.
Yeah, and he's been pretty good. You know, very consistent throughout the year. I mean, hitting at almost 290, on base percentage over 360, and not afraid to take a walk. He's been very good in the middle of that lineup, but he's been able to stay healthy. I think that's a surprise to the folks in that dugout for the Brewers, the way he's been able to handle left-handed pitching this year. Hasn't faced a ton of it, but he's hitting about 250 against lefties.
We'll take a look at his hit from last night. Columbia St. Mary's worth another look. And a single into right center field for Adam Lind, career hit number 1,000. This season he has played in his 1,000th game. Has 1,000 hits and 150 career homers. Gibson strikes him out for the first out of the inning, and he's retired 4 in a row. Gibson's got a good changeup going early in this game.
He's got changeup, slider, and that 2-seam fastball, and none of those pitches working very well in the first 3 innings at Target Field against Milwaukee. But After giving up those 5 runs in the first 3, he retired 13 straight, ended up going 7 innings.
Here's Aramis Ramirez. Takes a strike, outside corner fastball from Gibson. Ramirez homered last night. Gives him 9 home runs for the season. He's got a lot of work to do to get those numbers back where he wants them. Slow start for Ramirez. He's had moments of hot hitting.
Just hasn't been able to put it together for a week to 10 days. We'll go a few games going pretty well, and then cool off again.
He has been historically throughout his career a second half hitter. It's one of the reasons he has not made many all-star teams, only 2 in his career. Slow starter, good finisher. And in this his final season, he's hoping that is the case this year as well. Last night on the first pitch, a home run for Ramirez. Powerball home run number 9 for Ramos. That was part of a 4-run second inning for the Brewers. And Ramirez strikes out. Back-to-back Ks for Kyle Gibson.
He's got it working here today. We mentioned he's not had very good luck his last 3 times out, all losses. But really hasn't pitched that poorly. There's that slider going away from Ramirez, and just waves at it. They got some pretty tall starters, this group. I mean, Trevor May, big kid yesterday. We saw Meyer come in out of the bullpen, his major league debut. He's 6'9". And Gibson 6'6".
Shane Peterson with 2 away. Yeah, Gibson looks like one of those guys that could emerge as an ace. No question. He's got that kind of stuff, that presence on the mound. Made his major league debut in 2013. And a homegrown Twins product. A first rounder in 09. His development phase of his career in the minor leagues was set back with Tommy John surgery. That was following the 2011 season. He missed most of 2012. And then came back strong in 13, made it to the big leagues, and here he is, now a mainstay, and he has retired the first 6 that he has faced.
As you have some pretty good pitching going on here at the ballpark. The Brewers and the Twins close out their series tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and all fans in attendance get a bobblehead of Paul Molitor. That's courtesy of Clemens Sausage. Call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com to reserve your spot today. Very nice. You just think of that?
What are you talking about? It's Paul Mahler sliding into the booth.
Yeah, that wasn't you.
I was trying to make the heads match.
No way.
Gibson, little tapper, and Garza, bare hands, winds it up and throws him out. A perfect strike to first base. That'll make him feel good. That's usually a spot of bother for Matt Garza. But when he can get it and fire it over to first, he's usually all right.
When he didn't have a lot of time to think about it. You think about the throw, that's when he has his problems. But spins around and throws a strike to Adam Lind and gets Gibson by a couple of steps.
Twins have their pitcher batting 8th. So Danny Santana batting in the 9th spot will hit with 1 out. They just brought him back. Santana scuffling over at short. Been some talk about moving him back in the outfield. He might see some playing time in the outfield. But prior to the season, Paul Molitor declared Santana as a shortstop, and that's where he'll play, figuring that he would have some growing pains there. He'd been an outfielder prior to that. Molitor wanted to see him grab that shortstop position. Had a terrific rookie season last year, and it's been a little different story for him this year as he bounces out. Garza has 2 quick ones here in the 3rd, and he has retired 6 in a row now.
Yeah, Santana with 12 errors in 50 games, hitting .217, so having a rough time of it. The Twins are going to stick with him.
Now they put Byron Buxton on the disabled list. They called Santana back. Santana was having a lot of success at AAA Rochester. So pretty similar to the Scooter Gennett story, minus the position change. Top of the order here is Dozier. He is the reason the Twins have their pitcher batting 8th. They're trying to find some way to have some base runners on when Dozier bats in this National League setup. Slow roller. Ramirez gloves and throws him out. 7-pitch inning last inning. 7-pitch inning this inning for Matt Garza. It's second in this inning. Our lows never stop improving. Now, Scooter Gennett, over his last 3 games, is 4 out of 10, and he has a couple of home runs. He's hit 3 home runs since June 11th. And the Rockies working on that inside pitch. Darnell Cole spotted a hole in his swing, and he's really been giving that attention here recently.
Yeah, and again, the tee is the best way to start to work on that. That pitch down and in, just the pitch that they were working on. The batting tee, and yesterday he's able to take one out of here in the right center. It's not just the fastball that was giving Scooter problems on the inside part of the plate. He was chasing sliders down and in off the plate. So a little bit more patient at the plate, and a little technique that Darnell Coles was working on has him much better on that inside corner.
Jeanette hit a long home run last night. And he is really swinging the bat well since he got back from AAA. And when they talk about he's putting in the work, it's not just what you see when they show up for the game. And good job, our crew out there taping some of that early work.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. I mean, these guys, most of them show up about 1:30 and get whatever work it is that they need. They feel as though they need to get in, whether it be defense. A lot of times you'll see guys out there working on ground balls, particularly guys that aren't playing every day. There's Darnell. One of the toughest jobs in all of baseball, the hitting coach. Be more of a psychologist as anything else, keeping these guys positive when things aren't going well.
Gene Segura in a 2-2 count leading off this bottom of the third.
And it's not unusual, you know, after we wrap up things here in the booth after a game and walk in through the service level to hear the crack of the bat in that batting cage. I mean, after the ball game.
Big bouncing ball to Santana. Oh, and he throws it into the seats. Danny Santana, who has a rifle for an arm, just fired one into the second row of the seats behind first base. And an error will send Segura to second base.
And that might have hurt somebody. That ball came in there like a line drive foul ball. Not even close. He has that sidearm flip by the way he throws the baseball. Doesn't get on top. Watch the way he sidearms it. Arm comes down and that ball just nowhere near Joe Mauer. It's tough to throw the ball over ahead of Joe Mauer. He's big. He's a big, tall guy. That's not even close. Look out there in the front row. Error number 13 for Danny Santana. That's a lot in only 50 games.
Yeah, a lot of those errors came early in the season as he's making that transition back to the shortstop position or to the shortstop position. So that's a break for the Brewers. They get a two-base error out of Santana, and here is Scooter Gennett. Swinging a hot bat right now. Gennett, 2 hits yesterday, including that long home run up into the Toyota territory in deep right center. Had a home run against the Mets as well.
And it's not a mechanical thing. I mean, it's all about, you know, just fine tuning and getting back to what he was doing last year. He's a solid hitter, you know, shooting the ball to the opposite field, able to pull the ball for home runs from time to time, but just kind of got wrapped up early in the season and just couldn't get out of it. So it was time well spent down in the minor leagues. He took advantage of it.
He was optioned to AAA on May 18th. And he had 307 down there. He had 75 at-bats in AAA. Had a couple of homers. He drove in 11, 17 total games. Was recalled on June 11th. And since being recalled, he's hit .289 with 3 homers, 6 runs batted in. At the time of his demotion to AAA, Gennett was only hitting .154. He needed a moment to go down away from the bright lights of the big leagues and work on a few things, and he's carried that over back to the big leagues here.
Maybe with the pressure off, you can work on things and not get too worked up in your at bats.
And we talk a lot about his hitting. Yesterday he came out for early work on his hitting. We showed you that off the tee. Today the Brewers did not take batting practice. Gennett was the only player on the field taking ground balls. He was working on a number of different maneuvers at second base. Ground ball to the right side. That'll get the job done. That advances Gene Segura. Gennett grounds out 4-3, but he does advance the runner to third. Gennett is not only working on his offense and his defense. He actually got under the growing light yesterday. Did you see that, Rob?
I did not.
They have those for the grass here, and it allowed him in a couple of areas. He got just a little taller to make this catch. He doesn't make that play without the growing lamps, in my opinion. And then, of course, he hit that home run up there where the big boys hit him. You buying that philosophy?
That's good. That's good stuff. I mean, what that tells you is that the work is never done in the production truck.
Nor is it with Scooter Gennett. All facets of his game, including.
I'm not sure it's a good idea to be sitting under those heat lamps.
No, they're growing lamps. They're not hot. They make you grow. I'm thinking about going out there myself.
Not like a tanning bed.
No. He does look like he's a little taller.
Well,
I mean, Kyle Gibson, he was 6'3" when he got here, and he sat under those yesterday. He's 6'6" today.
They were out there after the game last night. They set those heat lamps up to where they get a lot of traffic. Where the outfielders stand, along the between the on-deck circle and the plate.
That's top notch. You're giving analysis on the growing lamps. There's nobody doing that in the big leagues.
I was here a little bit late last night.
Yeah. That's what I understand.
Had some stuff to deal with up in the suites.
I bet you did.
It was the wife's birthday this week. It is a week-long event.
The birthday week event. 1-2 to Garza.
I will say this: the grounds crew here at Miller Park, they put in some long hours.
Yeah. Yep, they do, and they do a great job.
And it's worth it. This field is impeccable. It's in great shape. Looks great. Players love playing on that infield playing surface, the dirt, the grass.
Garza trying to put the ball in play. Infield is in, and it's a roller, and Segura started. Now he's going. Now he stops. And wisely, he would have been a dead duck at home plate. Segura trying to create a throwing error. But the Twins played that very well.
And all that was just a 6-3 putout. But there was a lot going on in that 6-3. Infield in. Segura thought he might take off, but then he realized who the ball was hit to. One of the better throwing arms. Starts and stops. Joe Mauer has played it safe and went to home plate. Probably the best idea.
Yeah, those are a bunch of short throws there. Easy throws to make for the Twins. So Segura wisely returns to third, and he'll give Gerardo Parra a chance with 2 away.
Pretty good job, though, by Garza putting that ball in play. That wasn't an easy pitch to hit.
Brewers do not have a hit at this point. An error by Santana has allowed Segura to third. Day baseball in Miller Park can be tough on the hitters. Think back to the Jacob deGrom game on Thursday, a shutout, a 2-0 shutout. Mets beating the Brewers. Max Scherzer struck out 16 on a 1-hit shutout. Day baseball a couple of Sundays ago against the Nationals.
And when it's overcast, it's no big deal because you don't have those shadows to deal with. But on days like today, it could be tough. Tough enough to hit when you can see the baseball well.
They close the roof halfway on the right field side to allow that shadow to get out there. Backhanded Santana, long throw is a good one. That was a heck of a play by Danny Santana. Makes up for that error. 3 scoreless in the books. We head to the 4th. by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham, 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. Well, a good moment between innings and what separates Paul Molitor from a lot of other Hall of Famers. There aren't many Hall of Fame players as managers now, but Molitor, after that Danny Santana error, he is working through the process with him, giving him some thoughts, some critique, Rock, but also a little encouragement as well. Yeah. He goes right to the player.
I would imagine that one of the things he's talking about, just because you have a good arm doesn't mean you have to use it all the time. I mean, use your crow hops, get rid of it quickly. Don't rely and sometimes be flat-footed with that big, strong throwing arm, because that's what happens sometimes. You don't have to use that big arm every time. Only when you need it, like he did in that last play.
Made a heck of a play to end the third inning. Garza back to work here as we start the fourth. He's got Eddie Rosario leading off. So that's really the key to managing these days. Players have to know you're on their side and understand how hard the game is, and then you have to choose your spots to be firm. But it was affirmation that Paul Molitor was trying to accomplish between innings there. Hot one on the ground to Segura, and he'll take care of the speedy Eddie Rosario. One away here in the fourth. Let's check in with more on Paul Molitor from Sophia.
Thanks, BA. Yeah, Paul Molitor talking about becoming a manager, and he said those are qualities that you just form over time, and it started for him in his final years in Minnesota. You just take on that different role, similar to what Torrey Hunter is doing with his club right now. But he said those qualities of your thoughtfulness and your decision making on the field, handling the demands of the game, being a good communicator, a good leader. He said those are things that you form as a veteran player that have certainly carried over to his managerial career here.
And talking to Paulie about being a manager, he says he still has a lot to learn. He relies on his coaches quite a bit, and his veteran players, guys like Torrey Hunter to police the clubhouse. He doesn't have to do that kind of thing. He had Joe Mauer helping him out in that regard as well.
Mauer hits one sharply to second. 2 up, 2 down for Garza.
There are always things about managing that you don't anticipate once you become a manager and you've never done it before. Craig Counsell talks about that all the time. A learning process that it's not always that you can rely on somebody to help you out. You just got to feel your way through it and find your own type of personality.
Well, Counsell grew up idolizing Paul Molitor, growing up with his father, Counsell's dad John, working for the Brewers over at County Stadium in the Molitor era. And they actually became close. The families, the Counsells and the Molitors, during that time. And he hitched his wagon to Paul Molitor at a young age, and it is so impressive that he's able to manage against him. Trevor Plouffe grounds to third base, and Matt Garza is cruising right now. That is an 8-pitch 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. Now Twins Brewers as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Brewers are coming up. Lucroy will lead off. Quick check down on the farm courtesy of Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Congratulations to Orlando Arcia. He has been named to the 2015 Futures game. He'll be on the World Team roster. Having a great year in AA Biloxi. And congratulations to Chris Hook, one of the great guys in the Brewers organization. Outstanding pitching coach at AA Biloxi. He will serve as the pitching coach for the U.S. team at the Futures game during the All-Star week in Cincinnati. That'll be the Sunday prior to the All-Star game in Cincinnati.
It's an impressive season that group in Biloxi has been able to put together, given all their road games to start the year. I mean, that Arcia is some kind of player.
Arcia's older brother here in the Twins system, Osvaldo, battling some injuries and just hadn't been able to get going this year, not on the current big league roster.
What'd that road trip end up being? Was it 55, 57 games?
Yeah, 55 games
in a row on the road while they're fixing up their stadium. Wow.
And they won that first half. They are in the playoffs. They play 2 halves in the Southern League, so they're already guaranteed a spot. And Arcia is turning into one of those guys we might see here in the big leagues sooner than later.
It's not unusual to come up from AA these days. Unheard of back in the old days.
Twins just did that with Byron Buxton. Brought him straight up from Chattanooga in the Southern League.
In old days, I'm talking about 10 years ago. 5-10 years ago.
Lucroy lays off a tough slider. 2-2 the count on Jonathan.
Lots changed in baseball in 10 years, hasn't it? It's a young man's game these days. A lot of young players in the big leagues.
Young guys seem less intimidated now than they were in the past. You were telling the story when you came up to the big leagues. There was a definite hierarchy of service time, which still exists, but there was more, what would you say, a little more intimidation factor to it?
Yeah, you had to earn your stripes in that clubhouse. I came up in '83 in July, and there was 4 Hall of Famers in that clubhouse.
Back to the fastball. Here's a 2-2, and Lucroy takes low. Full count.
And Molitor, Yount, Raleigh Fingers, Don Sutton. Pete Vukovich was there, a Cy Young Award winner, and Ted Simmons, those kind of guys. I mean, they're intimidating. I mean, I remember being in spring training with those guys, and they looked at you funny from time to time.
Here's a payoff from Gibson. Lucroy in the right. Sounded like he broke his bat. And Hunter is there to make the play for out number 1. Well, speaking of the All-Star game, this July, Cincinnati, the Midsummer Classic. Home field advantage for the World Series is on the line. Coverage beginning July 14th, 6 p.m. Central on Fox. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. That is the 2015 MLB All-Star Game exclusively on Fox. Brewers are going to be on Fox a week from today. Be on Fox against the Reds in Cincinnati. Carlos Gomez lines one into the gap in left center. Bounces off the wall. And Gomez is in with a double. The first hit of the game for the Brewers comes in the 4th.
That ball hit like a shot. That 93-mile-an-hour sinker didn't sink until it hit the warning track. Once in a while, these sinker balls, they get on the side of that pitch, and they're straight as a string, and that's what Gomez got, and he hit it hard into left center. So good speed at second base with 1 out. That's a nice swing, a finish high, nice and under control. We've seen a little bit more control in the swings of Carlos Gomez. Every now and again, he'll lose that helmet and go down like he did earlier in the homestand.
Gomez is definitely pulling the reins back when he runs, dealing with that hip injury. But he's got a double with 1 out. Here's Lynn now.
You ever notice how Carlos never loses his helmet when he makes contact? It's only when he swings and misses. That wild swing, he pulls his head. When they make solid contact like that, I mean, the head's still, the back gets through the zone, and the helmet stays on.
Lynn trying to drive in the game's first run. And he hits it hard left field, base hit. Gomez around third. He'll try to score. The throw cut off. Gomez is in. And Adam Lynn continues to swing the bat. 1-0 Milwaukee.
Well, he's something else, taking the ball to the opposite field. That's about as pretty a stroke as you're going to see. That two-seamer going away from him. He goes right with it down the line and left. Check this out. He try and pull that. That's an easy ground out, but he stays on it and lets the ball travel down and through, and it's a line drive, and Carlos Gomez is able to crawl home from there with his speed. Brewers on top first.
So Gomez with a double. He scores on the Lynn single. Adam Lynn is loving his time here at Miller Park. He's got huge numbers in his home stadium. Swing and a miss by Ramirez on a breaking ball. That hit by Lind has now pushed his average over 340 at Miller Park and has 24 runs batted in 39 games at Miller Park. He's hitting 344.
And even in the beginning of the season, where every one of the Brewers was off to a rough start except for him, Lind was swinging a bat well in the month of April. Always important to get off to a good start with a new team, and he did.
Gibson has Ramirez 0-2. Ground ball to third. Plouffe got a chance to start a double play, and it is a 5-4-3 around the horn double play to end the inning. However, Adam Lynn driving in a run. The Brewers have a lead.
Hotel and Casino, the Brewers with a 1-0 lead thanks to Adam Lynn's RBI single. And the Brewers Community Foundation is currently hosting their Drive for Charity, which runs through tomorrow. Fans are asked to bring full-size toiletries to the ballpark that will be donated to nonprofit organizations supporting families and children with basic needs. If you donate a full-size toiletry or a contribution of $5, you'll be given a commemorative pin featuring the Milwaukee Brewers pitcher Mike Fiers. So thank you for your generosity, and a reminder, just please bring those items tomorrow if you're coming out for the Paul Molitor bobblehead day.
All right, Sophia, thank you, and we send our best out to Cecilia Gore and Katina Shaw. They do a great job with the Brewers Community Foundation and connecting that to the players and all the great charity work that the Brewers do with the BCF. Torrey Hunter leads off for the Twins. 1-0 Brewers now after Lynn drives in Gomez. Twins have one hit. The first batter of the game, Brian Dozier, bunted his way on. And Garza has locked down the Twins since. He has allowed just one walk, has one strikeout. He has been extremely efficient. Single-digit pitch innings in the last 3 innings.
Yeah, Twins helping him out by being aggressive early. Only 38 pitches so far for Garza. Only 8 of them out of the strike zone. 8 balls, 30 strikes so far for Matt Garza.
He's got Hunter 0-2. Hunter flew out to center field his first time up, fairly deep. And a ground ball, fair, just inside the bag. And it's going to go into the corner. Torrey Hunter into second base with a double on an 0-2 pitch. And the first hit since the first batter of the game for Minnesota.
It didn't have to be that good on an 0-2 count, and Hunter got one. Got it middle in. The ball was down and in, and Hunter able to drop the head on it and tuck it inside that third baseline. So the second time the Twins have had their leadoff hitter on, first time since the first inning.
Here's Chris Herman, one of 5 hitters that will bat lefty against Garza in the Molitor lineup. Herman was a strikeout victim in the second inning. Garza struck him out on 3 pitches, and I got a called strike 3 to retire him. It's the lone strikeout for Garza today. He goes 1 ball, 1 strike. Garza's got a lot of run on that fastball today.
He has been very effective inside and outside to both left-handers and right-handers, so able to control both sides of the plate.
13 pitch first inning with a hit and a walk. Extremely efficient in the last 3 innings. And Herman trying to bunt his way on.
Man,
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sacrifice bunting in the 5th inning.
And don't forget, the Twins have their pitcher batting 8th. So their pitcher is in the hold right now. Herman hitting at just 179 this year. 62 plate appearances. Backs up Kurt Suzuki. Flares one foul in the seats.
Typical day game after a night game. A lot of teams will use their backup catcher in a day game, and Herman getting a chance today. Of course, Lucroy's catching day game after a night game. As many games as Lucroy's missed already this year. Tough to get him out of the lineup right now.
You might see Maldonado catch tomorrow. We'll see. One ball, 2 strikes. And he doesn't get him to bite on that. Missed with the slider. 2-2. Herman has bounced around a little bit, primarily a catcher, but he's gotten starts in right field, left field. He's gotten some playing time at first base and as the DH. Mostly backs up Suzuki, though, and he doesn't chase after that one. 3-2 now. This is a hitter that you certainly want to challenge. Make him hit his way on.
This is a part of the order. We were talking about it earlier. You've got to be able to control these guys. Bottom half of this batting order. Can't let them do any damage.
Hunter with a leadoff double. He's at second. 3-2. Lifted foul. Might have chased ball 4. Twins could use some punch with their catching position between Herman and Suzuki. Suzuki only hitting .232. He's an excellent defensive catcher. Payoff pitch, and it is ball 4. That is a mistake by Garza. Issues a walk to Chris Herman, and now it's first and second with nobody out.
Now that brings us to today's time of the game winner. Russ's Park Place in Janesville. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. I wonder if they're going to bunt here, because you got the pitcher coming up, and we'll see.
That's still a way out of this inning for Garza, despite 2 on and nobody out. But this is the key batter in the frame right now.
Let him swing away. You got the pitcher on deck. Now if the number 8 hitter's on deck as a position player, you might think about it. American League doesn't sacrifice bunt all that much. Only 13 times have the Twins used the sacrifice bunt all year.
Eduardo Escobar takes a strike. Good fastball. Garza's throwing hard today. He is consistently humming along in the 93-94 mile-an-hour range. That one coming in at 94.
And he's been able to keep it down with a little bit of movement on it.
1 ball, 1 strike. Garza looking for a ground ball to turn 2. 1-2. Escobar starting in left field today. Escobar's played all over. Second base, shortstop, third base. Most of his starts have come in left field. He's also had a few rounds as the designated hitter. Twins have some versatile players. A swing and a foul tip in and out of the glove of Luke Croy. No skill involved in that. It's either in the pocket or not. Can't put that one on Luke.
They can't practice that. Caught it down at the end of the fingers, and that's where it hit, so there's no way you can catch it.
Does that hurt?
Yeah, sometimes. The ones that hit the thumb are the ones that get you.
Big pitch here. Brewers lead 1-0. Hunter takes off, and a swing and a foul. That's actually a break. Hunter had that base stolen.
Well, Escobar forced a swing. He's got 2 strikes on him. He had no choice.
Hunter took off. Herman did not. And Lucroy is on his way to chat with Garza and maybe sort through this.
Remind him to keep an eye on him. Just take a look. You don't have to throw over. You don't have to throw to second base. Just step off. Make him at least give him the idea that you're thinking about him over at second base.
You see that? Hunter looks out at Gomez, gives him a little running sign like I could run too still, you know. Escobar asked for and is granted timeout. Garza taking a long time. Well, with the pitcher due up next, a double play ball here could get Garza out of this inning. First and second, nobody out, and a swing and a high drive deep right center field. That is way back and gone. Garza giving up a 3-run home run on a 1-2 pitch. Just like that, the Twins on top. All 3 batters he's faced in this inning, he has had the 2 strikes in the count. A double, a walk, and now a homer.
Look at that pitch right down the middle, about a little bit above the knees, and the left-hander able to drop the head on. He's a switch hitter and knocks one out of here, way back out in the right center. So both hits have come with 2 strikes. Torrey Hunter on a 0-2 pitch, and now Escobar on a 1-2 count.
Worst case scenario for the Brewers. Garza makes a big mistake, and Escobar makes him pay for it. 4th homer of the year for Escobar.
Well, the Twins loaded their lineup with left-handers and switch hitters, and it's paid off.
Still nobody out. Garza's got to start the inning over here. And he strikes out Gibson for out number 1, second strikeout.
We're just cruising along, and the Torrey Hunter double, and that put Garza in the stretch, and things slowed down considerably when he was working out of the stretch. And Escobar knocks one out of here.
You think how close Escobar was to a strikeout as well on that foul tip. Another inch or two. Lucroy hangs on, and it's a different inning. Santana on the first pitch. Out number 2. Second time he's grounded to short. And at the top of the order now, and Dozier.
Well, a double on a 0-2 count. Then you walk Herman, who really isn't much of a hitter, at least at this point. Then on a 1-2 count, Escobar, the number 7 hitter, knocks one out. After you've been doing a pretty good job controlling a group of hitters that have been pretty good this year, the top of this Minnesota batting order. Dozier and Mauer and Plouffe. That was a turning point in this inning, walking Herman.
Yeah, had him in a 1-2 count and then lost him, walked him. Remember, Herman tried to sacrifice bunt at one point in that at bat.
Yep.
Two 2-0 to Dozier, and that one's low. 3 balls, no strikes. Dozier will swing 3-0. You can't just throw a cookie in there. He's got the green light. He's their home run leader. Takes that one. Dozier hit his 15th homer of the year last night. Led the game off with the home run. Got 15 career leadoff homers. Strike 2. Same spot. He got it on his hands. He fouls it away. Garza riding that fastball inside on Dozier.
That's what he tried to do on Escobar. Leaked it out over the heart of the plate.
Pitch number 8 of the at bat.
It's amazing how these pitch counts have a tendency to equalize themselves, right? I mean, first 4 innings, what was it, about 38 pitches? And look at it now, 30 here in the 5th.
And the 9th pitch in this sequence, and he misses inside. Dozier draws the walk. So the 2nd walk of the inning, 3rd walk of the game for Garza. And just cruising along till this 5th. Running into all kind of trouble here in the 5th inning. Carsoup.com trivia. Besides Los, the 2 other active pitchers to defeat all 30 MLB teams. That would be A.J. Burnett of the Pirates and Dan Herron of the Marlins. Those are the numbers this year. Those 2 pitchers both putting together terrific careers. And Burnett coming back for more after this year. A lot of folks thought Burnett might retire. But he's back with the Pirates and helping to lead that staff.
And a good year.
Garrett Cole is the ace of that pitching staff. Garza facing Eddie Rosario. Dozier was thrown out trying to steal second in the first inning.
Not much of a running club, these Twins, although Dozier has 6.
And there he goes. Lucroy's throw to second, and the tag not in time. Dozier got a hand in there this time. He got a great jump.
Almost identical throw from Jonathan Lucroy, and a pretty good tag again by Segura, but just a little bit too late. Dozier had a really good jump, and Segura really never dropped the tag on him. Gabe Morales in great position to make that call.
Counsell stepped out of the dugout for a moment just to indicate they wanted to look at it and quickly retreated. Dozier with a 7th stolen base. 7 out of 9. In scoring position for Rosario. Foul pop out of play, 0-2 the count. There's only 2 other games going on currently in the big leagues. One game was postponed today, the Indians and the Orioles in Baltimore. Texas has a shutout going against Toronto. Gallardo is the man spinning the shutout for the Rangers. He's on 8 shutout innings, a 2-hitter for Giovanni Gallardo. 4-0 Texas. The Blue Jays are a team to keep an eye on because they are keeping a lot of eyes on the Brewers right now. I've seen more Blue Jay scouts over the last couple of weeks than any other team.
Yeah, we saw Jim Scanlon when we were in Colorado. Every team in the American League East over 500 except for the Red Sox. One game separates 4 teams.
Toronto's been bashing away. They're 5 over, 1 back. That's what it looks like in the AL East. And you start looking at some of these contending teams, and you know the Brewers will be involved in some trade discussions. Not sure where that will all end up. But the Blue Jays have their eyes on someone or a few of the Brewers, it would seem. Long inning for Garza. 3-run homer by Escobar. And the 2-2 slap foul. Rosario's hanging in there.
A lot of foul balls this inning. You know, Twins able to stay alive, whereas early in the game, first 4 innings, they were putting the baseball in play and grounding out. A little bit location, maybe not getting the baseball down as much as he was early in the game. Twins staying alive until they get one to hit.
Another 2-2. Up the pipe. Will that stay playable? Lucroy right up against the screen. He's got it. And finally this inning ends. Garza exhales, but a 3-run homer by Escobar in a 38 pitch inning for Matt Garza.
and Casino. The Twins have a 3-1 lead thanks to Escobar's home run off of Matt Garza here in the 5th. And some big news around the league. The Marlins will be without Giancarlo Stanton for the next 4 to 6 weeks. He has a broken bone in his left hand. It will require surgery. They are hopeful he does not have any ligament damage, but he leads the league in both home runs with 27, 67 RBIs. And as we come up on the All-Star game, he is second among National League outfielders. So definitely a big loss for the Marlins in the game of baseball.
Yeah, it's a big loss for us, right?
Yeah, right.
The home run derby was something I think Giancarlo Stanton was looking forward to, and he was hoping to be asked. I'm sure he would have been asked, and that's a tough break for a team that has had a tough season, the Miami Marlins. And we go back to the conversation, Rock, that you had with us when Giancarlo was here last year when he took that Fiers fastball to the face. But I don't know if you can change it or not, but the way he takes pitches, inside pitches, it has to change, or else he's going to continue to open himself up to injury. He doesn't turn in to take him on his back or his shoulder. He's a lot like Segura and Gomez, where his first instinct is to open up that lead shoulder, and that's why it exposes face, shoulders, hands, all of that.
That's not something you can change very easily. I mean, that's the way he hits. He generates an enormous amount of power by doing that, and I don't see him ever changing. You can't really, completely change and redo a batting stance when you've had that kind of success. That's very difficult to do. But you got to pitch them inside, guys like that. I mean, home run hitters, you have to pitch in. Ryan Braun's not the only good hitter that gets pitched inside. I mean, all of them do, particularly those big home run hitters.
Right off the end of the bat, tough play. Dozier coming in out of his glove and makes the play. Wow, that was very well done by Brian Dozier to retire a speedy base runner in Segura.
Well, not only can he hit, but he can play some defense. He shovels it out of the glove, and that's a tough thing to do too. Very easy for that ball to get caught in the webbing and flip straight up into the air, but that was really the only choice he had on that play. And gets him by half a step. Good job by Dozier.
Yeah, not an easy play for Mauer either, not knowing where that ball's going to come out of the glove. Catcher turn first baseman. Here's Scooter Gennett. And he swings at the first pitch. A grounder to short. Quick inning. Shutdown inning for Kyle Gibson. 1-2-3. The Brewers go in the 5th. 3-1 Minnesota.
A 3-1 lead, and this summer the Brewers are giving away a free T-shirt at all Friday home games in the month of June, July, and August. On Friday, July 17th, the Brewers take on the Pirates, and all fans will get a Roll Out the Barrel T-shirt courtesy of American Family Insurance. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
Here we go to the 6th inning at Miller Park. And Matt Garza back on the mound. He's had one big mistake in this game, and that's it. He's been pretty good other than that pitch, but that pitch hurt him badly. Eduardo Escobar with a 3-run home run. Garza walking 2, giving up 2 hits last inning after breezing through the first 4. Let's see if he can get it back together here. Mauer leads off. He is 0 for 1 with a walk. Garza's walked 3 today. Walked Mauer in the first, and then he walked 2 last inning. Matt had a ton of 2-strike counts last inning. And couldn't shake it as Mauer dumps one into left field, a base hit. So Mauer with his first hit of the day, leadoff single. And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe.
Amazing the way Mauer is able to cover that outside corner. That's why you have to pitch him inside. Good hitters, you pitch inside. Mauer's one of those guys that'll turn in on a pitch inside and protect those hands as he holds on to that baseball bat.
And we're talking about Giancarlo Stanton last inning, who got hit by a pitch, broke the hamate bone in his hand, and that image of him taking one in the face last year. But there is a distinct difference between hitters who take pitches and how they do it.
Right. Here's what Giancarlo Stanton does, and Segura too. When the pitch is coming, they're opening themselves up. That front shoulder flies open toward third base, and look what's exposed. That hamate bone right in there. What you like to try and do is, as you get in your setup and the pitch is coming in, you just continue to roll over. You roll inside, and that protects the hands. And you really can't get hit in the hands. If the ball's going to hit you, it's going to hit you in the back or in the shoulder. But if you open up like this, look what's exposed. You got your hands, your wrists. And that's what happened to Stanton in yesterday's game.
And that's not, you're saying that's not something you can just change. It's instinct at this point.
That's the way he hits. Very difficult to change that. You either have that or you don't, I think. You might be able to talk to a guy like Darnell Coles. He might be able to change a guy. The Brewers were trying to change Segura. Once in a while he does it, but not all the time.
Well, it's really important if you're an amateur player out there, and I think one thing that a lot of younger players, amateur players, don't do that big leaguers do a lot of when they take batting practice or when they're taking flips or whatever drills they're doing, they track pitches, and that's kind of a lost art. And I don't know if a lot of coaches around the country are teaching that, but when you're in a batting practice scenario and you're going to get, say, 4 or 5 pitches, take 2, just track them, just try to follow them in, and then that's how you work on how you take pitches. There's a shot right to Jeanette. Waits for Segura to cross the bag, and nope, that popped out of the glove of Lind. Just disrupted the timing a little bit. If Jeanette gives Segura a beat, he'll hit him on the run.
Yeah, he didn't have to flip that ball so early. He just let Segura get closer to the bag, and this is something that the Brewers have had a little bit of a difficult time doing in turning double plays. This has got to be a double play. There's that flip a little bit too high, throws off the timing, and a short hop that Adam Lind should have been able to come up with. So there's an opportunity for the Twins. Brewers not able to turn the double play, and the Brewers are going to take a look at it. Does he grab the baseball with his bare hand? And he does. He should be out right there. He had the ball in his hand, in his bare hand, before Trevor Plouffe touched the bag. Let's take a look at it. Foot's on the bag. He's got the baseball. That should be an out.
And the ball still touching the dirt there. This is going to be an interesting call.
He's got his hands wrapped around the baseball, though. Is he in control of the baseball? That's going to be the question to the umpire in New York.
Dan Isonia, the crew chief, comes down from third base. The calling umpire is the taller umpire there, Lance Barrett. And the umpire on the right will get word from the replay center in New York to make this call. Both of these umpires looking at the replays currently running on the big board. do you have possession of a baseball?
He's got it right there. It just depends on what the umpire is going to determine. It looked to me like he had a good grip on the baseball. Just because it's on the ground, I don't think is an issue.
It's going to be an interesting call here. I don't know which way this one's going to go. I'll be curious to see the interpretation from the replay umpire. Regardless of how this decision goes, that is a routine double play ball that the Brewers have to be able to turn.
Yeah, that was botched a couple of different times.
I think Jeanette put Segura in a tough spot. You know, his toss to second base had some air under it, and Jeanette's got a lot going on there. Not only does he have to catch the ball, he's got to hit the bag, and he's also got to avoid the runner. And that ball was just hanging in the air for an eternity.
What makes this a close play is the fact that Trevor Plouffe just flat stopped running.
Now they're taking a good long look at this. It's really going to boil down to what do you determine as possession of the baseball.
Right.
And if you're going to go that deep, did Adam Lynn's fingers move once he actually picked the ball up? And I don't think he did.
No, I mean, if the umpires are looking to see if he gets the baseball, does he have to lift it off the ground? I'm not sure.
Here comes the call. Iasonia says out. So there you go.
He did have control of the baseball. It doesn't matter if it's touching the ground.
So the Brewers do get the double play. Fortunate there. And Counsell wins the challenge. Call is overturned. And that'll be a 4-6-3 double play. 2 minutes 12 seconds. The time of review there. It's good to know that's a first for me in the replay era.
Right.
Whether a player has possession of the baseball or not on the ground.
If the fingers were not wrapped around the baseball, it certainly wouldn't have been an out.
Yeah.
But he had a grip on the baseball. Whether it touches the ground or not is not the issue.
Yeah, you couldn't just, you know, hypothetically, if the ball's on the ground, reach out, touch the ball with one finger. That doesn't make him out, right? You gotta you gotta have a grip on the ball.
Right.
It's an interesting decision there. Torrey Hunter turns that one around, and this is way gone. Long home run for Torrey Hunter. And the Twins have a 4-1 lead as Hunter hits his 9th of the season. It follows his double in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Torrey Hunter got things going in the 5th with that leadoff double. Walked in home run, second home run for the Twins. And a no-doubter. Fastball up, inner half, and Torrey Hunter knew it as soon as it left the bat. 16th home run allowed by Matt Garza. He and Kyle Loach have had a difficult time in keeping the baseball in the ballpark this year.
Hunter with 9 homers, 40 runs batted in now. He's 2 for 3 today. And Hunter's been hitting second. Molitor moving him down to 5th, and the lineup has paid off today. All smiles for Torrey Hunter. Hitting coach Tom Brunansky. Oh, and to the count on Herman. In the air, center field, hit well. Back is Gomez. And he's got it to end the inning, but the Twins strike again. And Torrey Hunter, their leader, their captain, has them on top 4-1. Just run a very entertaining race. And I tell you what, the Polish, nobody's faster than the Polish flying around.
That might be the best time we've ever seen here.
The Italian actually showed pretty well today. And look at this. He ran down Hot Dog and passed him and beat him for the silver medal. Good work today by the famous racing sausages.
Yeah.
Margin of victory was significant for Polish. It's why he's got that smile on his face all the time. He knows he's fast.
Somebody told me that Italian was called a guaranteed win today.
Really?
Didn't happen, did it?
No, it's. I guess it depends on what context you're talking about. He did beat the Hot Dog, but he got dusted by the Polish.
Are you in that camp? They're all winners?
Everybody's a winner, including Jason Rogers, who pinch hits for Matt Garza here in the 6th. Chorizo had another subpar performance. This is normally the time he shines. He's a summer sausage, you know.
You getting the grill out tonight?
I think I might.
You know,
it's grill night.
Second time this week.
Yep. I will. There you see the numbers on Matt Garza. Frustrated. Had it right where he wanted. He was rolling through 4, and then it got away quickly in the 5th.
Yep.
Well, see if the Brewers bats can get him off the hook here on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, second time through the batting order for Matt Garza, a little bit more difficult for him, and Twins able to make some, get some mistakes and take advantage of them.
Is that Bug a Brewers fan? What a seat. I mean, of all the people you could park on, the starting pitcher. Rogers rolls one to Plouffe. Good pickup, and Rogers is out. How long will he stay there?
Uh-oh. That's it. Well done.
I might have kept him on there, to be honest with you. Little moth.
I guess his battery mate told him he had a bug on his hat.
See, that's
teamwork.
Yeah.
That's why they call it the battery.
Top of the order now. Here's Gerardo Parra. I'd tell you if you had a bug on your head, Rock. Herman says, dude, you got a moth on your hat. I don't know. I might have been inclined to let it ride. You got an out.
See how long he can stay on.
Tell you what, if he gives up a hit here, he's going to regret that decision. Gerardo Parra 0 for 2 today. Gibson's getting a lot of ground ball outs.
He's had a pretty good slider today too. I mean, we've been talking about that 2-seam fastball, the ground ball outs he's got. He's threw a very good slider to Parra that last pitch.
He struck out the side in the 2nd inning. Has 11 outs via the ground ball. 0-2 to Parra. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brewers scored 10 runs on 12 hits last night. Scored 10 runs in the first 2 innings of last night's game. And only 1 on the board today. Way inside, almost hit him. 2-2. Texas finished off the Blue Jays today 4-0. Giovanni Gallardo couldn't finish it, but he pitched into the 9th. He went 8 1/3. 3 hits, no runs. His ERA is 2.72, and a 6-6 record for Gallardo.
Yeah, Yo hadn't given up a run in a while.
There's a base hit. Parra on a 2-2 pitch slaps one to the opposite field. The power of the moth. And it's going to be really tough to get him to land back on your hat. He's in jeopardy of not finishing this inning now without the moth.
You're kind of interested in that moth, aren't you?
I'm telling you,
spent a lot of time with him.
There's a weight and a balance to the world, Rock. And when a moth lands on your hat, you just kind of let him do what he wants. Forced his evacuation. It's a good breaking ball to Lucroy. It's been well chronicled throughout the years. Herman wants a changeup. Gibson's had a good changeup today. Buries that one in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kyle Gibson, native of Indiana, but his college ball at Mizzou. He's from Greenfield, Indiana. 27 years of age.
Hasn't won a game in the month of June. He's got a 3-run lead.
Good part of the order coming up for the Brewers. 1 away in the inning, way inside. 2 balls and a strike. Lucroy lined out in the first. He flew out to right his last time up. Another one in there. 3 balls and a strike on Lucroy. Only run for the Brewers came in the 4th. 1 out double by Gomez. Lind had an RBI single.
Yeah, the only 2 hits, they were back to back before Parra's hit in this inning.
3 hits. Gibson has not walked a batter. 3 strikeouts.
Hey, Gibson thinks Parra might be taken off. That is a strategy against a ground ball pitcher. Try and stay out of the double play. But you better make sure you make it, or your hitter's going to be able to make contact when you're down by 3 runs. Do not want to be making outs on the bases.
Good hitters count for Lucroy. 3-1. You got Gomez due up next. And it is ball 4. Lucroy draws the walk. So post moth, Gibson has given up a single and a walk, and now has to deal with Carlos Gomez.
That might be what the discussion is right now. Gibson saying to Herman, why'd you tell me to take the moth off my hat?
He said, if anybody has a moth, bring it out here. Those are, they're easy to catch, but you can't make them sit there. You freak them out a little bit, and then they fly away.
A little fidgety.
At the plate, presented by Wendy's. Gomez with a double, and the run scored in the 4th. Big spot for him. The long ball here ties it up. Gomez certainly has the pop to do it. 2 on, 1 out. Gomez comes out of his helmet.
First pitch slider. That's been a good pitch for Gibson as well. When he pulls his head like that, that's when the helmet falls off. Always on a swing and a miss.
It's amazing that he can catch it. Looking for a mistake. He lays off a slider that time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Big spot for the Brewers here. The Twins have scored 4 runs in the last 2 innings to take a 4-1 lead. Gomez with a chance to get some back. 1-1 in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. Good block back there by Herman.
Yep, all 3 pitches sliders. Don't want to give Gomez a fastball.
Adam Lind is on deck. Two balls and a strike on Carlos Gomez. And a topper foul. 2-2 now.
Makes that fastball from Gibson so tough to hit today. Good downward movement on it. Looked like a pretty good pitch until it got to the hitting zone and just took a dive on him. Chopped it down in the dirt.
Parra at second, Lucroy at first. They are ready to run. 2-2 the count. And Gomez rips one center field, and it's going to be run down. Rosario makes the catch. Boy, a tough break for Gomez. He hit that right on the nose.
Yeah, probably the hardest hit ball of the day for Milwaukee, and ends up being an out. That ball was smoked. That's the way he keeps the head down. I mean, that's a nice steady head. Hat stays on the head, and a bullet, but Rosario able to make the catch. Too bad.
Yeah. Exhale by Kyle Gibson. That gets in the gap. Got a chance to score 2. So now 2 men are out. And Gibson will face Adam Lind. Lind has extended a hitting streak. He's hitting 7 in a row now after his RBI single in the 4th. And a shot, and Dozier's there on the shift, and he makes the play. Takes a hit away from Lind. How about those 2 batted balls by the Brewers going as outs? Gomez first, and Lind. Heck of a play by Brian Dozier. Look how far in the grass he's playing out there. Delivery of the game. Escobar delivers a 3-run home run. 2-strike pitch. Game changer right there at this point. That was a 5th inning 3-run homer with nobody out. And the Twins have added to their lead on a Torrey Hunter home run. It is 4-1. Eduardo Escobar, switch hitting left fielder today. He'll lead off this 7th inning, and Michael Blazek is the next man on the mound for the Brewers.
Yeah, pitched on Thursday against the Mets. Took his 2nd loss of the season. Gave up a run in an inning of work. Also struck out 3 batters in that inning. Overall, very good numbers for Michael. 4-2 record and a 188 earned run average, with the bottom third of the Twins batting order to deal with.
Blazek will face Escobar, the pitcher spot, and it looks like Gibson is out there to hit and will continue.
Yeah, bottom half of the batting order has done all the damage today for Minnesota. We were talking about how important it is to control that group. It's been just the opposite today.
Now, home runs from Hunter and Escobar. Torrey Hunter hitting 5th today. He's got 2 hits. And Escobar had the big one in the 5th. Hunter, a double and a run scored. And then the home run number 9 of the year for him.
Talked to Torrey yesterday before the ball game. He says he still has a couple of years left in him. Still enjoying the game and has been productive this year.
Well, it feels like he'll be around the game forever. I mean, when he stops playing, if he wants to, he certainly has options either on television or if he wants to go into the coaching ranks. I'm not sure what his plans are, but he'll have a place in the game for sure.
There's certainly guys like that. You got to keep in the game somehow. I mean, as a coach, teaching young players, maybe rove down in the minor leagues if he doesn't want to have a full-time position. But guys like that know how to play the game, know how to act. He's always been able to keep his nose clean. Those guys you have to figure out a way to keep those guys around for a while. Not many of them left. Guys like Torrey Hunter.
Hard to think about Torrey Hunter at Miller Park without thinking about his first ever All-Star appearance here at Miller Park back in 2002. At that moment where he robbed Barry Bonds of a home run. That was in the 1st inning of that game. Kyle Gibson a chance to bunt the runner over. He bunts right through that for a strike. Torrey Hunter has been around the game so long that in that 0-2 All-Star game, his Twins teammate that year was Eddie Guardado, who's now the bullpen coach. Everyday Eddie. Torrey was the starter in center field for the American League in that game. His first All-Star appearance, 2002. The infamous tie. There's Everyday Eddie, bullpen coach of the Twins.
Good left-handed pitchers. They can pitch as long as they want. Guardado, one of them.
Might be able to squeeze a couple of innings out of him here or there. Even right now. Gibson trying to get a bunt down, cannot. That'll be a strikeout for Blazek. And the first out of the inning.
Hey, DNR days are back at Miller Park this season through this special discounted ticket package. You can get a ticket to one of 4 Brewers divisional matchups plus a limited edition camo Brewers cap. Offer just $17.50. For details, visit brewers.com/DNR.
Here's Danny Santana. Twice has grounded out to Segura at short. Blazek would love another one of those here. This might be a spot where Molitor might stir it up a little bit, put a runner in motion. He's got Dozier coming up next, 1 out in the inning.
Yeah, maybe a hit and run, not typically with 1 out, but a struggling hitter up there, sometimes that helps. Get a runner in motion, open up some holes for him.
Santana pinch hit last night. This is his first start since returning from AAA. It's been a revolving door at the shortstop position for the Twins. If they're going to be a contending team, that's probably a position they're going to have to settle in on. As of right now, Nunez has been the guy that has hit the best among those who are playing short. Santana had another error today that gives him 13 for the year. It's a great example of how a season evolves and how plans change. You know, if the Twins are under 500, if they're not looking like a contender this year, you probably let Santana play short every day and just let him acclimate to the position. Molitor believes in him, believes he's going to be a good shortstop with his tools, and believes he's going to hit.
How patient can you be, right, when you're in a pennant race?
Right, changes everything.
Yeah.
Santana had a good year at the plate last year as a rookie. Hit .319. At 27 doubles. He hit for a little power. He had 7 homers. He stole 20 bases. I mean, he put together a pretty good package of offense last year, but it hasn't been there this season.
It's tough in the big leagues. You know, you have a good first season. You think maybe you get into the off season, you think you've got it figured out, and it's not the way the game is. It comes at you every day. Always challenges, things you have to make adjustments.
Blazek with a runner at first. He goes. And Lucroy's throw to second. The tag out at second. Segura got the tag on the helmet. And Escobar is cut down. Lucroy's thrown out 2 today.
Been throwing the baseball well since his return. Blazek doing a good job getting rid of it quickly, and Segura able to drop the tag right on top of the helmet. Actually the shoulder, and able to get the out.
Segura so skilled. He and Jeanette both. They take that throw so deep. You don't have to catch then bring the tag back. It's risky. You got to really have a lot of confidence as you
got to be tough.
Lean your stick your hand in there to make a catch and a tag with the runner coming in.
That guys throw that leg down there. The last thing you want to do is reach for the baseball and then have to bring it back.
Popped him up. So this is going to be a nice tidy inning here for Blazek. It didn't start out that way with a leadoff walk, but a caught stealing 3-batter inning in the 7th. Stretch time at Miller Park. By Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Well, the Brewers are in striking distance here, but running out of outs. We head to the bottom of the 7th. It's 4-1 Twins. Minnesota got 3 in the 5th with one swing of Eduardo Escobar's bat. 3-run homer in that 5th inning. They added one on a Torrey Hunter homer in the 6th. And here we go to the home 7th. Gibson is back on the mound. First ball swinging. Ramirez 1 away. Kyle Gibson pitching a dandy today. Just 3 hits. Only 1 run allowed. It's interesting that all 3 of his strikeouts came in 1 inning. He struck out the side in the 2nd.
You got Lynn, Ramirez, and Peterson. A lot of ground ball outs. That sinker working well today. Was it 2 fly ball outs? Actually 3. 2 of them line drives.
I got him for 13 outs accounted for via the ground ball. That includes the ground ball double play in the 4th. After the Brewers had scored a double and 2 singles. Gomez had the double and he scored the run. Lind had the RBI single in the 4th, and then Parra singled last inning. That's been it. Shane Peterson is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Change up and a beauty. 2-2 now. A lot of the 3 o'clock afternoon games underway in the big leagues right now. Just getting started all across the country. Got Rockies, Giants, Oakland hosting Kansas City. Twins are 4.5 behind the Royals to start play today. Boston and Tampa Bay are underway. Reds and the Mets in New York. Marlins and the Dodgers. Ground ball back up the middle. A base hit. Shane Peterson with a single. His first hit of the day, and the Brewers' 4th of the game.
3 straight changeups. That one, Peterson able to zero in on, and Gibson left that one up just enough for Peterson to be able to get good wood on it. Out over the plate, up just enough for him to be able to make good contact, and you don't see 3 changeups in a row all that often.
For that reason. Gibson to face Segura. Twins have their bullpen active. And Segura punches one to the right side, a base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Brewers on back-to-back pitches. Segura's 1 out of 3, and here come the crew. 2 on, 1 away.
Well, both teams with 5 hits. Brewers only have 1 extra base hit. That was that Gomez double in the 4th.
It's Blaine Boyer loosening in the bullpen. Molitor's got a lights-out closer in Glenn Perkins. Getting to him can be a challenge, though, for Minnesota. So this is the inning to strike if you're the Brewers. Scooter Gennett will bat with 1 away. And Craig Counsell has played his big card next as Gennett muscles one center field. Escobar, or rather Rosario, is there for the out.
It sounded like he got that one down a little bit on the handle. Well, you take your shot with your big boy when you can. You got a couple of men on the tying run at the plate, and this is the time where you go to Ryan Braun, see if he can tie it up.
So Braun announced he is leading the club in the Powerball home run statistic. 14 homers. Lind has 10. Braun is 8th in the league in homers. Had the day off from the starting lineup, and he'll get a chance to swing it here in the 7th inning with 2 on and 2 out. As a pinch hitter, Braun is 1 for 3 with an RBI. Molitor will let it ride with Gibson. Two on, two out.
Now you leave your pitcher in there that has been giving up nothing but ground balls. You know, why change that? Even the base hit in this inning was a ground ball from Shane Peterson.
Braun is actually among league leaders in double plays grounded into. He's hit into 11 this year. Fourth most in the National League. And Braun breaks his bat but muscles it into left. Here comes Peterson. He will score. Ryan Braun delivers. Pinch hit RBI single. It's 4-2 Minnesota.
Yep, got a slider up in the zone and able to fight it off and hit it into left field. So the Peterson single with one out. He comes around to score. The Brewers with 3 hits in the inning. And pitch out away from Brawny up in the strike zone. Got it down on the end a little bit, but with Escobar playing as deep as he was, there's no way he was going to be able to throw out Shane Peterson. The Brewers down by 2.
And now Molitor will make the change. So he tried to allow Gibson to get through the 7th, but to the bullpen he goes. Gibson exits, giving up a run on a pinch hit, 2-out single by Braun. He exits with a 2-run lead.
The Brewers are within 2 runs of the Minnesota Twins, and once again this season the Brewers are teaming up with the Wisconsin State Fair to bring fans the Fair Days double play ticket package for just $15. You get a ticket to the Brewers game and a general admission ticket to the Wisconsin State Fair presented by U.S. Cellular. For details, visit brewers.com/State Fair.
Kyle Gibson not pleased, out of the game. And he'll have to watch the rest of this inning unfold. There are 2 outs. 2 of those runners that are on are Gibson's. First and second for the Brewers. Blaine Boyer is on to face Gerardo Parra.
Yeah, last 2 appearances both came against the White Sox. 2 scoreless appearances. Got a pretty good arm. Low to mid 90s fastball. Good changeup and slider.
Boyer is appearing in his 300th career game in the big leagues and his 35th of the season. He's been pitching a lot. He has handled left-handers. It's interesting as a right-handed pitcher how the splits are so drastic. And wants to start over with his catcher Herman. He's got a hot hitter to deal with. Gerardo Parra, who singled in the 6th and is 1 out of 3 today. Brewers down 2, and again Boyer doesn't connect with Herman, and they'll have to talk about it. I don't know if this is pitch selection or how the signals are being given with a runner at second base.
Yeah, the multiple signals that you get with Segura out there at second. I want to make sure they know it's coming.
Typically, you'd include an infielder if it was the signals. They've got it straight here. 1-0. Good speed on the bases. And Parra lashes one foul. He was late.
And pitchers usually have their own set of signs that they're comfortable with when a man at second base, and typically the infielders know what those are for each different pitcher. Just want to make sure.
1-2 on Parra. Segura at second, Braun at first. Tying run at first base. And Parra stays alive.
Yep, 94 in the hands. Got that short arm delivery to his board, which makes the baseball a little bit difficult to pick up. Now this will be a strategy meeting for sure. Does he want to go with the curveball? He's got a good curveball that he likes to use against lefties.
Two outs in the inning. We play in the seventh. The Brew Crew stranded two last inning. Had two on with one out. And two hard hit balls went for outs. A run is in here in the seventh. 2 men aboard. And a 1-2 pitch. Parra, a little half swing, able to check it.
Yeah, pretty good take. I didn't miss by much. Good two-seam fastball at 95 miles an hour. That one had a lot of movement on it.
Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blaine Boyer. You see where pitch 5 missed. Got him. Took something off. Curveball from Boyer. He strikes out Parra, and the Brewers strand a pair. However, they get one, and it's 4-2 Minnesota. Clinic. Rock, how about we dial in on Jonathan Lucroy throwing the ball today?
And ever since he came back off the disabled list, his throwing has been very good. Just got very quick feet. You know, average throwing arm, but accuracy's been pretty good. He's caught down 2 today. He just continues to improve defensively behind home plate.
Lucroy got Dozier in the first. He just cut down Escobar in the 7th inning. That was after a leadoff walk. New pitcher is Jeremy Jeffress, and he'll have the 8th, and he'll have the top of the order coming up for the Twins.
Yeah, last pitched on Tuesday against the Mets. 2/3 of an inning. Well, he hit a batter, but that was it. 34 strikeouts in 33 innings so far this year. Has been very good at 327 earned run average. And as you mentioned, he's got the first 3 in that Minnesota batting order: Dozier, Rosario, and Mauer.
Jeremy Jeffress trying to keep the Twins at 4. The Brewers got an RBI single from Braun in a pinch hit appearance last inning to get that second run. Lind and Braun with the RBIs. And Milwaukee will have Lucroy, Gomez, and Lind coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Council has used his 2 best pinch hitters already today in Rogers and Braun. First pitch, breaking ball, backs him out of there for a strike. Nearly 40,000 today to see the Twins and the Brewers on a picture perfect Saturday in Milwaukee. Ground ball that is going to be gloved by Segura. No chance for an out. And Brian Dozier continues to get his hits. He's got 2 more today after 3 last night.
Yep, 2 for 3 and a walk. Stolen base. Some very good defensive plays at second base. Nice short stroke. Doesn't have a lot of movement in that swing until he's ready to fire to the baseball, and no chance for Segura to get the out.
You know, with Robinson Cano having a down year with the Mariners, it's hard to think about a second baseman having a better year than Dozier, not just in the American League and in all of baseball. Certainly put Altuve on that list.
Too bad he's not a Kansas City Royal. He'd be probably in the All-Star game.
Be a runaway for the All-Star game. Omar Infante still the leading vote getter.
Every one of their guys. It's an amazing story.
Twins fans got to get out and vote, especially for a guy like Dozier. He deserves to be there. He'll be there. I mean, he's going to be an All-Star.
Well, you figure Perkins is going to be an All-Star, their closer. Dozier deserves it. We'll see. It's going to be interesting for Ned Yost picking that team, right? I mean, all the guys that look like they're going to be starters in the American League for Kansas City. How's he going to be able to justify bringing his relievers that probably deserve it?
Yeah, Wade Davis is the guy where it really could come to a head, that decision, because he deserves to be there more than any of the others. But you know, the manager only gets a couple of picks. We talked to Ned about that when we were there. There's a ground ball to Jeanette. He'll flip it to Segura. And safe at first. Rosario beat it out. Almost an impressive double play. Slow developing play.
Now, the only chance Jeanette had is he charged that baseball. He waited back. He got the big hop to get the lead runner. But once he did that, he's not going to be able to get Rosario on the double play.
Here's Mauer now with a man on and 1 away. Mauer has a hit today. Had a single to the opposite field his last time up. And a strike from Jeffress. 97 with a fastball.
And it looks like Rosario is thinking about stealing a base. I think that's why Mauer took that pitch. Rosario took a couple of quick steps thinking he might take off.
See Adam Lind, he's pointing to his eyes there. The backdrop behind the pitcher is fans in sunshine.
He's saying to Jeffrey, maybe take a little bit off of that throw over here.
It's got to be tough for him to see that line that he's looking through. And Mauer, gloved by Segura, out at second, throw to first, and no, safe. Close play.
Wow, what a nice play by Segura. Wow. They had Ramirez diving for the baseball. And they were still almost able to turn the double play. Great counts on the top step. Good concentration. A good feed to Jeanette here. And Scooter hanging right in there. And that's pretty close.
That is bang, bang. And they will take a look at it.
I'm not sure there's enough.
It's got to be clear and convincing.
Got 30 seconds.
It's going to be the best angle just because of the super slow-mo camera. But
7th inning, why not?
Very rarely are the bang-bang plays overturned. And when is it in the glove? Oh, man, that is.
Yeah, that's really, really close.
And if it's hard to make a call with that many replay reviews and angles, they don't bother.
What a good effort that time, though. I mean, the Brewers have failed on a couple of different opportunities over the last couple of weeks to turn double plays, but that would have been a beauty. Scooter hanging right in there with the runner bearing down on him.
2 outs now. Here's Plouffe. Starts him with a hook and in there for a strike. Trevor Plouffe. He and Ryan Braun go way back. Played together as kids in the LA area. I think they were in the same little league. Braun's a couple of years older than Plouffe. Plouffe was tight with Ryan's younger brother, Stephen Braun, and those two are buddies. Plouffe's been able to lock down that third base job for the Twins last couple of years. Power hitter. 40 doubles last year, most ever by a Twins third baseman. There's a familiar name that held that record until last year, Corey Koski.
I was thinking maybe Gary Gaetti.
It's a good call. Yeah, never had a 40 double year. Corey Koski was a Brewer briefly, had severe concussion problems and never got his career back. Plouffe into right. This will be playable. Parra's there and Jeffress is out of the inning. An infield hit to start the inning, but Jeffress puts up a 0. Luke Croyd leads off. Brewers down a pair.
now. Getting late here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon for baseball. Last night, 10 runs scored by Milwaukee. That same old storyline continues. It's tough to get them back that next day.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you what, you got to give credit to the pitcher today. Gibson, throwing the ball down, keeping the ball down. He's a sinker ball pitcher, a ground ball pitcher. Was able to keep the ball down his own and stay ahead of hitters today.
All right, going to the bottom of the 8th. Brewers still have plenty of time in a 2-run ball game. We've got complete coverage of this ball game coming up on Brewers Live Post Game. After the game, we'll hear from Craig Counsell and plenty more, Brian.
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. Looking forward to that. Here is Casey Fiend on the pitch for Minnesota. So we head to the bottom of the 8th. The Brewers down 2 with the heavy hitters coming up.
A good fastball in the mid-90s and a cut fastball. 249 earned run average for Fiend. And game number 20. Allowed the 1 home run and a 213 opponent batting average.
Lucroy walked his last time up. Brewers have been knocking at the door the last 2 innings. 2 on with 1 out in the 6th and couldn't bring him in. That's a little ground ball foul. That's some spin on it. 2 on 1 out in the 6th came up empty. 2 on with 1 out last inning. Ryan Braun had a pinch hit RBI single to get the Crew within 2.
Yeah, Brewers 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position today. They've had opportunities for sure.
Kyle Gibson pitched well, 6 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, and he is in line for the win for the Twins. Boyer got out of the 7th inning, striking out Gerardo Parra. His only batter faced, and Molitor goes with Fiend, who's emerged as his setup man. This is the inning to strike. The Twins closer doesn't give up much. Glenn Perkins.
Yeah, 23 out of 23, not too bad for Perkins.
Lucroy trying to get it started here. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. And reaches out, pops it up. Santana has got it right in the heel of his glove. And Lucroy is retired. Casey Fiend gave up a run against the White Sox his last time out, but prior to that, he had not allowed a run since April. There's only been 3 games this year he's given up runs. He had a blow-up game against Detroit on April 29th. He gave up 3 runs in an inning. So his earned run average of 249, but half of the earned runs he's allowed this year came in that 1 outing.
Doesn't take much when you're working out of the bullpen. And not a flamethrower. He's got a very good cut fastball and a slider to go with a 93, 94 fastball, and keeps the baseball down. Doesn't give up many homers.
Had 9 consecutive scoreless outings through May and June until giving up a run his last time out. Gomez on the ground. Plouffe playing in makes the play. 2 up and 2 down for the Brewers here in the 8th.
Yeah, both outs coming on sliders. Got Lucroy, got Gomez, both on sliders.
Here's Adam Lind. 2-0 to Lind. Adam extending his hitting streak today, hitting 7 in a row. He's 1 for 3. He drove in the first Brewers run in the first run of the game in the 4th. Twins got 3 in the 5th. Eduardo Escobar hit a 3-run home run. That has been the difference in the game thus far. Torrey Hunter added a home run in the 6th inning for Minnesota. All 4 of those runs belonging to Garza, who went 6 innings.
And they play Lynn like a left-handed or a right-handed pull hitter. They got Escobar shaded toward the line and deep. He uses left field so well. That's where he got his base hit in the 4th inning.
Now the Twins put their left fielder in about the same spot as the Brewers put their left fielder against Mauer, hugging that line.
But Escobar very deep. Hard to see him in the shade in the sun.
And he drives one that way. Base hit for Lind. Well, he's just making it look easy right now. 2 more hits today for Adam Lind. And the Brewers will bring the tying run to the plate here in the 8th inning.
I would imagine Lind and Mauer have a lot to talk about with their hitting style, right? Only pulls the ball when he has to. You can see that spray chart. Only 16 hits to right field, and there's a good example of what he's able to do. He waits, lets the ball get to him, and puts a good swing on it. Same thing Joe Mauer does.
A smooth stroke. And a batting average that is on the rise. Lind is pushing a 300 average now. He's hitting .292. He gives Ramirez a chance. And on the first pitch, Aramis pops it up. Going back, Dozier. Coming in, Rosario. And that will be the inning. Casey Fiend puts up a scoreless 8th. To the 9th we go. The Twins are coming up with a 2-run lead. Rewind, and Adam Lind delivering the run for the Brewers. Gomez had doubled just before that. That was the first run of the ball game, and then the big swing. Eduardo Escobar, 3-run home run on a 2-strike pitch that came in the 5th. Torrey Hunter hit a home run in the 6th, and in a blink of an eye, the Twins had 4 runs on the board against Matt Garza. Ryan Braun came on with an RBI single in a pinch hit appearance in the 7th. And that's where we sit. 4-2 Minnesota. Second game of the series. The Brewers won last night 10-4 and have won 3 out of 4 from the Twins this year. New pitcher Rockies Corey Knebel trying to clean up the 9th and get the Brewers to the dugout. Down only 2.
Yeah, Corey's been really good his last 11 appearances. 2 earned runs in 14 innings. That's a 129 earned run average. Last pitched on Thursday against the Mets and threw 2 perfect innings. 6 up, 6 down. Brewers have actually out hit the Twins today, 7-6, but Twins have the 2 homers.
Hunter into center field. That's pretty well hit. Gomez going back at the wall. Goodbye. Another home run for Torrey Hunter. His second in as many at-bats. And a 3-hit game for Hunter. 10 home runs on the year makes it 5-2 Minnesota.
Yeah, it looked like a breaking ball that hung up in the zone. It did. It was right down the middle, and Torrey Hunter on the first pitch looking for curveball, got it and knocked it out of here.
It's a man who's doing his homework. Not a lot of guys swing at the first pitch curveball.
Well, it was a hanger, but it doesn't have to be a perfect pitch when you throw a first pitch curveball. Got to figure hitters are up there looking fastball, and boy, Torrey Hunter hit that one deep into center.
Chris Herman takes a called strike. So Kaneba comes right back and strikes out Herman on 3 pitches.
You're looking for the curveball. I'm going to give you the fastball, and he blew him away 3 straight pitches.
Eduardo Escobar. Escobar had the big hit in the 5th. It was a long battle. Garza got ahead of him 2 strikes, and then Escobar fouled off a couple of pitches. Finally got one he could handle, and he hit one out of here in a 3-run homer. The Brewers at the time had a 1-0 lead, and it was quickly 3-1 Minnesota.
Garza really cruising until that 5th inning. Twins weren't able to do anything off of him.
Hit hard, but right at Jeanette for the 2nd out. 2 gone in the 9th. Hey, a reminder that Tuesday the Women's World Cup semifinals begin. Team USA taking on Germany with a trip to the final on the line. USA 2 wins away from a World Cup title. Coverage begins Tuesday 5 p.m. Central, and it's on your local Fox station, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. A thrilling 1-0 win over China for Team USA. 2 outs. Shane Robinson pinch hitting. Takes strike 1. Looking ahead to the Brewer 9th, now down 3 runs. Shane Peterson, Gene Segura, Scooter Gennett. 6, 7, and 8. Then we'll see a pinch hitter. Robinson started in center field last night. Today Mahler has Rosario out there. He's had a nice game defensively.
That's the thing about the Twins. I mean, it's kind of a revolving door in that outfield right now, center and left. Right field's pretty well covered with Torrey Hunter, although he's not playing every single day. Pretty close.
In the air, left center field, fighting the sun out there is Peterson, but Gomez no problem, and that will retire the side. So Torrey Hunter does it again. He homers for the 2nd time, makes it 5-2, and it's the bottom of the 9th. Beautiful Saturday in Milwaukee. Twins have the lead. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Brewers down 3 as we go to the home 9th. Last call here for the Brew Crew. Shane Robinson will stay in to play left field, taking over for Escobar. And Glenn Perkins is on the mound, the fantastic closer of the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, 70 saves in the last couple of years. 23 out of 23 so far this year. Has given up only 2 runs in 23 2/3 innings in a closing situation. So he has been lights out when he's been needed most.
Got a 3-run lead to work with, going after his 24th save of the year. And he leads the American League. Only Mark Melancon of the Pirates has more saves across baseball. Melancon has 24. There are 2 others with a perfect save percentage. The Brewers' Francisco Rodriguez is 15 for 15. Andrew Miller is 17 for 17.
And not overpowering. He's just got good command. He's got a good slider to go with the fastball, and just continues to throw strikes.
He's put together back-to-back 30 save seasons. Peterson reaches out, pops it up into center field. Tough matchup for Peterson. 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th. Tomorrow, series finale. Miller Lite, what's on tap? 12:30 is airtime. We got Mike Fiers against Tommy Malone. And first pitch will be just after the 1 o'clock hour in the Central Time Zone. Fiers coming off a good outing. Last time out. Segura takes one inside. Segura has a hit. He singled his last time up. Perkins is a converted starter. When he first came up with the Twins, he was a starter. Matter of fact, he started 44 games over a span of 3 years, 08 to 2010. Segura, a little line drive right to Santana. And Perkins is an out away from save number 24. Scooter Gennett. A lefty on lefty matchup. Gennett is hitless today, 0 for 3. And that should do it. Mauer's there. Perkins covers, and that's a ball game. Perkins made it look easy. 9 pitches and remains perfect. Escobar had the big one, the 3-run homer in the 5th inning. Torrey Hunter with 2 homers and a double today, scored 3 runs. Minnesota wins it 5-2. Gibson beats Garza. Perkins with his American League leading 24th save. Craig Cashon, Jerry Augustine standing by in right field. It's time for Brewers Live. Take it away, Craig.
All right, Brian, thanks very much. Tough one for the Brew Crew here today, but the series is even up. That means we'll get you set for the rubber match of this 3-game series that begins tomorrow afternoon. We'll hear from Craig Counsell and the crew coming up next on Brewers Live.